Seven-time F1 world champion Lewis Hamilton has gigantic goals ahead, while F1 gets another COVID-19 case. You can now watch full 24-minute episodes of The Inside Line at our new home on unbeaten.com. Lewis Hamilton has confirmed that he will stay in the sport beyond 2020, with the now seven-time F1 world champion opening up on his mission following a storming drive in Turkey. Hamilton extended his all-time win record to 94 in Istanbul, mastering the wet conditions, but wants to up his activism in human rights with his focus on nations visited by F1. I want to push to hold ourselves accountable as a sport, to realize that we've got to face and not ignore the human rights issues that are around the countries that we go to, he said. Hamilton's comments come on the back of F1's controversial plan to host a race in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia next year, with human rights organization Amnesty International outspoken on what he could do.
We'd love to see someone like Lewis Hamilton speaking out about someone like Jane Al-Hathlul or Nassima Al-Sada, both facing long prison sentences for just trying to claim very basic women's rights. He's got the platform, he could do it.
Pirelli boss Mario Isola has tested positive for COVID-19, with the 51-year-old's result part of last Sunday's regular testing schedule, though he is asymptomatic and in isolation, with all close contacts negative. Isola is the fourth senior F1 figure to have tested positive this year. Local fans were shut out of last weekend's Turkish Grand Prix due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, but Red Bull took the race to the people in the lead-up to the event. With Red Bull Racing's Alex Albon and ALPHATARI's Pierre out and about in Istanbul, and touring the city's iconic attractions, including Hagia Sophia Grand Mosque. Before a first-ever F1 continental crossing, the 15 July Martyrs Bridge straddling the Bosphorus that separates Asia and Europe, ensuring a pit stop to remember ahead of Red Bull Racing's 300th race.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing today. To drive an F1 car in Istanbul for the first time, especially on the Bosphorus Bridge. Crossing two continents, I think it has never been done before. Obviously very happy to be part of it.
This weekend is our 300th race. Of course, the team has a lot of memories. My favourite memory would have been my first race with the team. Quite a unique situation, but it was good to go through the field, and the last move was pretty special.
Istanbul was a round for mega milestones, with the F1 squad behind Alfa Romeo Racing, Sauber, making its 500th start, becoming just the fourth constructor to do so, after Ferrari, McLaren, and Williams. But it was a race to forget, with Antonio Giovinazzi retiring with a gearbox issue on lap 12, while Kimi Räikkönen struggled for tyre temperature and finished 15th. The pair will continue on into next year. For a private team, they've been a long time here, surviving some really difficult times, and hopefully we can make them go higher up in the coming years, Räikkönen said. Sauber joined the grid in 1993, founded by the eponymous cigar-smoking Swiss businessman Peter Sauber, and enjoyed a 4-year stint as a top work squad under BMW's ownership, before being sold to Longbow Finance in 2016. Interlagos is set to retain the Brazilian Grand Prix until at least 2025, with São Paulo Governor João Doria last week confirming that the contract has been drawn up with F1. The race, which was expected to head to rival Rio de Janeiro from 2021 at a yet-to-be-built track in the Deodoro region, was allegedly secured on the back of the venue's readiness and willingness for a longer-term deal, which reportedly includes an additional 5-year option. The event, however, will be renamed the São Paulo Grand Prix due to an increased involvement of the local authorities, with a new promoter set to take over operation.
No ano que vem, portanto, Next year, on November 14th, we will have the Sao Paulo Grand Prix here in Interlagos. It's a 5-year contract running until 2025 that can be renewed for 5 more years, until 2030.
Bahrain could host F1's pre-season next year for the first time since 2014, with the sport set for a single 3-day test ahead of the opening race at Albert Park on March 21. 2020's pre-season was limited to just 6 days, down from 8 allocated in past years, and ran across 2 3-day tests, with F1 set to slash that in half from next season. Spain's Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya has been the preferred test venue, given the range of corners, location and cost, and could still host, with Bahrain yet to be locked in for the role. Melbourne is hoping for 50,000 fans at next year's Australian Grand Prix, with the event organisers rethinking both spectator and hospitality areas at the Albert Park track to stay COVID safe. As confirmed exclusively to the Inside Line by Australian Grand Prix Corporation Chief Executive Andrew Westacott.
We're taking this approach of modularity, modular small grandstands, indoor-outdoor style dining facilities, and you get each of them individually right, and you can expand them around the 10.6 kilometres of frontage of the track itself.
F1 revealed the 2021 calendar last week, with Australia leading a 23-round season. Vietnam has been dropped, with the slot left open, and Malaysia being sounded out. There are also 2 triple headers. But to start in Melbourne, F1 teams will have to quarantine first, with the opening round a big test for the sport's stringent protocols.
They're going to come in specifically in a quarantine bubble. We've seen and we've known how Formula One is very, very rigorous with their testing, and even drivers, whether it's MotoGP or riders in MotoGP or drivers in F1, if you're testing positive, you're not racing, but the show can go on.
F1's turbo hybrid era will continue beyond 2026, with the sport confirming it will focus on sustainable fuels for real-world benefits in reducing carbon emissions across the globe. Honda's announcement last month that it will leave F1 at the end of 2021 prompted a rethink of the sport's power unit and whether it should move to battery electric or hydrogen fuel cell electric for new engine regulations set to come on song in 2026. But with the automotive sector divided on their R&D efforts, F1 saw a far brighter path in fuel innovation driving cleaner combustion. We believe that with over 1 billion of the 1.1 billion vehicles in the world powered by internal combustion engines, we have the potential to lead the way in technologies that reduce automotive carbon emissions globally, said a statement from F1. All-female racing category W Series will join F1 for 8 events next year, likely filling the gaps left by feeder series F2 and F3, which will from 2021 be on alternating weekends. W Series had its inaugural season in 2019, with 20 drivers contesting the 6-round calendar, and Jamie Chadwick crowned its champion. And the category is set to boost diversity in F1.
I think it was Chase Carey who championed W Series, for Formula One, and he obviously wanted to do it because he's been promoting, diversity from Formula One's point of view.
But it's been a rough road for W Series since that inaugural season, with its entire 2020 campaign cancelled due to COVID-19, one that included 2 spots on the F1 bill in the USA and Mexico.
Vizca takes the win.
At one point, I remember standing in my bedroom shortly after, we realised, how bad COVID could potentially be. And I just, burst out crying because I thought, my dreams for W Series, may come crashing down.
Ferrari's World Finals event is a traditional end-of-year celebration across all its racing activities, including Formula One. But the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has forced 2020's edition to now be rescheduled to March 4 to 7, just 2 weeks before the season-opening Australian Grand Prix. Europe is currently being hammered by a second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, with rising infections and deaths triggering tougher restrictions, including lockdowns. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.